Welcome back again to the channel Lam. This is where we talk about relationship and marriage and what we experience and what we go through in the relationships and even in marriage. Today's topic, last time we talked about toxic relationship and even toxic marriage. And today I want to discuss about how to come out of a toxic relationship and how to come out of a toxic marriage. You'll find that in Africa, let me talk about Africa, it's so hard to come out of a marriage and also to come out of a relationship. People feel like there are so many reasons that prevent them from coming out of a toxic marriage or coming out of a toxic relationship. Such factors that prevent people from coming out of a marriage or coming out of a relationship include what will the people say. Most people wonder, if I come out of this marriage, if I come out of this relationship, what will my friends say? What will the neighbors say? What will the people in the church say? But I want to highlight that your life is yours alone. You don't share life with anyone. And let me tell you, people talked before you were born. People talk even after you are born. People talk when you are good and when you are bad. People talk even when you are dead. And therefore, instead of going to the grave and leave your children, because sometimes in marriage you have children, or you go to the grave having no family at all, it's better to make a decision. Remember that this person who is toxic does not care about you. Actually, to speak the truth, they would be happy if you kill yourself or if something bad happens to you. They are sadists. They are narcissists. And therefore, when you find that a relationship is toxic, or you find that marriage is toxic, or it has some dangers, then it is a time to make a decision without thinking what people will say, without thinking what your church will say, and also without listening to the parents. Because we have seen that in most of the toxic marriages, it is the parents that insist you cannot come out of that marriage. What will the other people say about our daughter? What will the other people say about our son? Remember that this is your life. It is not about your parents' life. It's not about your sisters or your brother's life. It's your life alone. So, when you are in a toxic relationship, make an impromptu decision to come out of it. We have seen that there are parents who insist their children to stay in toxic relationship and they end up being killed. And you as a parent, if your daughter or a son is going through a toxic relationship, don't please encourage them to stay there. Don't tell them to stay there for the sake of your name or for the sake of your family. Because when you lose that child, you will start crying and you are the same person who put that child in danger. So as parents, I would talk to you today. Do not encourage your daughter or your son to stay in a toxic relationship. Because remember that most of these people don't change. If this is a person who is used to beating, a person who is used to using very bad language on the spouse, a person who is denying the spouse their rights, then you can be sure that this person has enough reasons why he's doing what he or she is doing. Maybe they are in another relationship. Maybe they are cheating. And this is a person who doesn't care about the other person they are staying with. They don't care at all. And that is why they are toxic. That is why they beat you. That is why they abuse you. That is why they use all kinds of manner to discourage you so that they can see you coming out of that relationship. The other factor that most people fear to come out of a toxic relationship or a toxic marriage is the church. The church contributes a lot because when you go to see the elders or the pastor or the leadership of the church, most of us, me being a church person, we encourage that you stick in your marriage. But you know where the shoes hurts you most. You are the one who is in that marriage, you are the one who is in that relationship, and you know how hurting it can be. So I would say make sound decisions without necessarily considering what people will think or what people will say or how people will talk, because even when you die in that toxic relationship, people will still talk. So you better come out of it. And you leaders of the church, I remember there was a case in Nigeria of a singer, a very famous singer. She was in a very toxic relationship. But she could go to the leadership of the church and she is told, God will do a miracle. God will remove you from there. Yes, God does miracles. But when you find that somebody is too much, can you please come out of there and you go and pray outside that home? It's better to be safe than to be sorry. Don't stay in a toxic relationship praying when you are there. When somebody is planning to kill you, when somebody is making decisions and you don't know what they are thinking about, it's better to be out and pray when you are outside that house. So, it's very, very important to make your decision in a very sober way without thinking about people and considering yourself and loving yourself, knowing that you are precious before God and God wouldn't want you to suffer in a relationship until you die. So it's better to make a decision. The other reason why people don't come out of a toxic relationship or a toxic marriage is because of finances. Maybe you are not employed and you are wondering, if I come out of this marriage, if I come out of this relationship, where will I start? Where will I go? And I want to tell you today, if you are dead, you are worse than when you come out of that relationship with nothing and you start from zero. Because we have seen so many women who have made up their mind to come out of toxic relationship and they go and start life at zero, and somehow along the way, God blesses them and they are able to raise up their children and to develop on their own. There are so many single mothers who have done so well without their spouses. I'm talking like that because most of the people who are abused are women. So don't stay in a toxic relationship just because someone is providing. You are fear-free and wonder-free made. When God created you, He gave you a brain. He gave you 2 hands. He gave you legs that you can come out of that toxic relationship and you start building your life and God backs it and you go somewhere. Don't allow someone to mistreat you, someone to treat you badly just because they are providing for you. Show this person you can stand on your own. Even if it means you start from zero, going to dig for people, going to clean clothes for people. It's better there than when you are dead. So I would encourage the women that are in toxic relationship, do not stay in a relationship because of what you are being given, what you are being provided for. I remember sometimes back, there was this lady who was saying she could be provided for everything she needed. But that guy, that man, could bring people, women, in their own house and embarrass her, and she could be made to sleep on the sofa, And then she could be beaten even when she's pregnant until she miscarries. It does not look good, and it's completely not fair to stay in a toxic relationship because someone can provide for you. You are fearfully and wonderfully created. And when God was creating us, women were created with a very special gift that women can stand on their own. I've never seen a man, after separating with a wife, he goes and stays alone and succeeds. Most men cannot succeed. Actually, when they separate, they go down. But I've seen women, so many of them, even when they separate with their husbands, they go and start off their lives and prosper. So you woman, love yourself. Be a hardworking woman. Think what you can do. Think outside the box. How you can uplift yourself, how you can lace up your children, how you can work on your own and build a home on your own. Don't stay in a toxic relationship because someone is providing. The other reason why people stay in toxic relationships is because they have invested in those homes or marriages. Right? For example, I invest with my husband, we buy property together, and therefore I cannot come out of that marriage because I have contributed to the building of that home and to the development of that home. And here I would advise women, when you are developing with someone, although nowadays I think the rules of Kenya are fair, because whatever you get with a man, whether you're working or not, you are supposed to share. But I would urge you, for security purposes, and sometimes because you don't have money to go to court and accuse this fella, and some of these fellas are very harsh and very hostile, I would urge you, whatever you buy, let your name appear there. If he's written one plot, be written the other plot, such that even if something happens, you have somewhere to start from. So do not, like I remember sometimes back, there was this lady we were working with. And this lady could borrow loans and give to the husband, and the husband could invest and write all the properties under his name. And it reached a time when this guy married another lady and sent this woman away. She was sent away with loans that she was paying, with the children to take care of, and with nothing in the pay slip. So it is very, very important, as a woman, insist. When you buy property, let one property be written him and the other one be written you. Because you never know about tomorrow, and especially when you realize, because you are able to read the person you are staying with. Is this a person I will stay with for the rest of my life? There are so many things that show along the way, which we call the red flags, that can tell you, this person, I might not stay with him or with her for the rest of my life. And therefore, to make up your mind, make a decision, and come out of that toxic marriage or that toxic relationship. The other thing that I want to say at this juncture is that there are some things that you don't learn quickly from a man. Like there are some men who didn't know how to hide their character very well. I remember there was this couple that was very, very happy to the public. And the public used to know that this couple, they loved each other. But this guy, behind the woman's back, he was a very bad man. Why am I saying so? They had invested together, they had properties written together, and you know, when the properties are written together, you are comfortable because you know, I'm going to have a share. But this guy planned on how to kill the wife. And automatically, when you are killed, he becomes the sole owner of the property that you owned together. So what am I saying? Women, learn to read between the lines. Don't wait until things are too bad. That is the time you are regretting, ama when you are already killed. Learn to read between the lines. Know the kind of person you are dating. Know everything about him and make up your mind. Because we don't want to have a situation whereby people are killing themselves, people are being killed, others, they are killing their children because the marriage is not working. It's not about the person for the rest of your life. In other words, you can survive without that person. You can move on and be somebody in life without him. Don't be so dependent on a human being. Even the Bible says that those who trust in men are cursed. Don't put your whole life on a person. Because I'm sure most of the people that kill themselves and start beating their children and killing them, or planning how to kill a spouse, are those people who think that having a separation is about life and death. No, it's not about life and death. It's about loving yourself. It's about coming out of a relationship that is not working. It's about having peace. Because in that relationship that is not working, one, you do not have peace. Two, you will be depressed, stressed. You'll have anxiety throughout your life because you don't know when this person will hit you and you die. So it's better to come out of that place and seek your peace. Love yourself. Be independent. Know that outside there, it's not about what you can do. Because even the Bible says in Proverbs 3, do not lean on your own understanding, but in everything acknowledge God, and He will make your path straight. So it's not about you. Learn to trust in God. Learn to have faith in God. And God, even before you entered that marriage, He knew what would happen. And therefore, you cannot just sleep there until something happens to you. We have seen people being burned by husbands, others being cut their hands, others being removed their eyes. Don't wait until something bad happens to you. Come out of that toxic relationship and tell God to make a way. He's a way maker. He's a miracle worker. He's a God who can turn things loud and make your life succeed once again. You don't have to sleep there, stay there until you suffer. No. Say no. Seek your peace. Seek your love. Seek a place where you have your life. Because this life is not a rehearsal. Live your life properly and make sure you are happy. Don't rely on someone. And I think I'll end at that. And I will say goodbye for now. I hope you have learned something about coming out of a toxic relationship. See you next time, and God bless.